I always said my first album will be my last album because I didn't expect to make it past 20.
Now, tributes are pouring in for South African rapper Riky Rick. Riky Rick died this morning in Johannesburg.
When these rappers get killed, not incidental. Somebody made $100 million and now don't have to talk to that artist or none of their crew, don't have to validate none of their contracts.
You remember when Katt Williams said that rappers don't just die, they either get eliminated or pushed to the edge, and the people up top make money off it? Yeah, that sounded wild back then. But looking at what happened to this South African rapper Riky Rick, it doesn't feel so crazy anymore. And his story is just so messed up. Riky Rick was one of the biggest artists in South Africa. Talented, smart, outspoken, business-minded, and proud to be black in every sense. But then Riky allegedly took his own life in his studio. Now, Ricky's family never confirmed or denied that his death was self-inflicted, but Riky previously talked about struggling with the pressures he faced in the music industry. Now, I'm not here to say that I've got all the answers, but what I am saying is this: every time a rapper dies, the story gets wrapped up quick. But this story just proves that Katt Williams wasn't lying after all.
See, what I'm saying is, in business, nothing is coincidental, or you would be hearing who's losing money. In all of these situations.
Quick PSA, before we really get into this, keep in mind that this story is kinda intense. If that's something you're struggling with, please take care of yourself first and reach out to someone you trust. Riky, whose real name is Ricardo Makado, came out of KwaMashu, South Africa. He built his name off of pure originality. Fashion, music, energy, everything about him was different and unique. And he didn't wait for validation from the big labels. Instead, he spoke to the kids and wanted to inspire the younger generations to pursue their dreams, no matter how hopeless their situation was.
Whatever you are going through, whatever you've been through, it's all about starting a new journey and starting that on your best foot, you know. So I just think about the kid who's sitting somewhere in Tanzania that doesn't have any hope to be anything. For them to see a black guy with a beard, with tattoos, and his face is on the Vaseline, what does that do for that kid, you know? For him, nothing is impossible. Kids also, they can get motivated to get involved with their dreams, and the dream leads you to where the money is made.
Riky also wasn't your typical rapper, glorifying street life and getting revenge on the ops. Instead, he advocated for positivity and helping others, and that is where the issues started.
No, even if people rock you, you know, I've also got a philosophy like, if people rock you, just teach yourself how to let it go, you know. Don't ever hold those feelings and keep those feelings with you, because most likely they're not keeping the feelings that, oh, I rock this guy.
Yeah.
You've always got to try let them go, and you try to forgive people as much as possible, as long as they didn't, you know, hurt your health or didn't hurt your family. You know, people always make, you know, bad decisions by you, and people always do wrong by you. But if you can let that go as soon as it happens, let that go, because there's so many more people to help. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure you get emails every single day about people sending you music, people sending you their content. There's so many people to help, and if you have that sort of like that black heart because of bad experiences, it'll stop that energy that you give.
Exactly.
And people see the energy that you guys give.
After his 2015 album Family Values went platinum, Riky started his own imprint, Cotton Club Records, and signed a licensing deal with Sony Music Entertainment Africa. Riky felt passionate about using his label to put other artists on, but you know that's the kind of move the industry doesn't like, when artists start empowering others instead of feeding the machine. And Riky spoke openly about mental health, politics, and being a black man trying to move differently in a system that profits off pain.
Shout out to all the kids who came through. There's my little homie right there, man. Yeah, what up, baby? You good? All right, come and show you something. This is just to show the kids that they can do this thing themselves, bro. Like, I don't have, dog, people think I have $1 million. I don't have $1 million. I'm just doing this out of my spirit, out of like trying to design, trying to make dope shit, so people don't have to go to Mr. Price.
Riky really tried to teach younger people that they don't need to chase clout to be successful. They just need to learn to love themselves for who they are. But if young people loved themselves, how could all these corporations profit from their insecurities and sell them stuff they don't need?
Instagram is like an advert for the life you don't live, you know? So if that seeps into your head, like, you know, for long enough, you're gonna have no confidence, you know?
Yeah.
So you really gotta teach yourself to be happy with who you are.
People often compared Ricky to Tupac, and he himself talked about how he felt he would die young just like Pac, especially after he started having those dark thoughts.
In some twisted way, maybe there will be some people who will relate with me out there. I always said my first album will be my last album because I didn't expect to make it past 25. For me, I wanted to go out young like Tupac. I wanted to die young like Tupac. I wanted to die like a Kurt Cobain. Suicidal thoughts is not anything new to me. I know how to even take it further. I know how to take it further. I've been there. I've been to that dark place.
Sadly, Riky Rick was right. On February 23rd, 2022, Ricky was found dead in his studio in Johannesburg. He was just 34 years old. He left behind his wife of almost 10 years, Bianca, and their 2 young children. Ricky's cause of death was reported as self-inflicted, but the family's statement did not explicitly confirm that. But here's another side of the story. Many of Ricky's fans felt there was something suspicious about his death. And while it's true that Ricky struggled with mental health, some folks speculated that he was pushed to the edge by shady figures in the music industry, especially after he signed that deal with Sony. And this is where Katt Williams' warning comes in. Katt's been saying for a long time that the entertainment industry isn't just about music or comedy, it's a machine. And that machine knows how to squeeze every drop of money out of you, even after you're gone. In one of his interviews, Katt explained how rappers don't just die, they get set up, silenced, or pushed to self-destruct. And when they do, the people who own their contracts cash out. No more arguments, no more missed shows, no more independence, just profit.
What I'm saying is, in business, nothing is coincidental, or you would be hearing who's losing money. In all of these situations, it's only the artist that's losing. Somebody makes big money. When these rappers get killed, not incidental. Somebody made $100 million and now don't have to talk to that artist or none of their crew, don't have to validate none of their contracts. Now only got to deal with the mama, only got to see her once a year, and it's over. And the money goes up and up and up. So they killed this $20 million guy, but they reaped $60 million in benefits.
Katt says when you're dealing with an industry driven purely by profit and exploitation, nothing's left to random chance. Even things that seem random are planned and orchestrated in advance to look that way.
Somebody benefited. Yeah. So in all of these situations, there's a business involved and there's real money involved, and somebody's benefiting from this thing that looks like, oh, that just happened. Nah. No way.
Now, people love to dismiss Katt and accuse him of being a conspiracy theorist. But think about it. How many times have we seen the same story play out? A rising artist, usually young, usually black, dies suddenly. The streams go up, the merch sells out, and the label walks away richer than ever. So when Riky Rick passed and that old Katt clip started circulating again, people couldn't ignore the pattern. Katt said the quiet part out loud. There's money in tragedy. And for artists who speak out or try to own their work, that truth gets even darker. See, when an artist signs to a major label, that contract isn't just about albums and tours. There's fine print. Stuff about royalties, masters, life insurance policies, and what they can sing or rap about, and recoupment. Basically, the label invests money in the artist. But if the artist dies, they don't lose. They collect. And Riky Rick knew this. In fact, he publicly spoke out against big labels and shady executives and encouraged up-and-coming artists to be independent.
Thought I would be more excited to get this. If you know my raps, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Shout out to all the kids that never get on radio, that can't get their song played on radio because they don't have enough money. Shout out to all the kids who put out music videos, that never get their music videos played on TV because they don't have the money. There's a lot of people that struggle to put music out in this country, and I feel like there's too many structures that are blocking people from putting out the dopest music. 90% of the shit I hear on radio is garbage. The stuff is living on the internet. Everything is living on the internet right now. So if you're a kid and you're watching this right now, forget radio. If they don't let you play on radio, you better go to the internet and make your songs pop on the internet.
But here's the ugly truth. A dead artist can be more profitable than a living one. Streams skyrocket. Old songs chart again. Merch sells out. The legacy conversation kicks in. Documentaries, tribute concerts, posthumous albums. Every one of those things makes money for the label, not the family. And we've seen it happen so many times before. With Michael Jackson, Prince, Whitney Houston. Hell, they're still making money off Michael Jackson. And just like Katt Williams said, when that happens, the label doesn't have to deal with contract disputes, creative control, or artists demanding ownership ownership of their masters. The deal ends, the estate gets a percentage, and the machine keeps moving. And that's why some people say the industry doesn't literally eliminate artists, although I'm pretty sure that happens sometimes. Instead, it destroys their spirit with pressure. Burnout, mental breakdowns, toxic contracts, fake friends, partying, substances, depression, it's all part of the same cycle. And Riky Rick talked about it. He spoke about depression, about trying to find peace in an industry that only cares about the product, not the person. So if Katt Williams was right, if the industry is designed to break people down and cash out when they fall, then Ricky's story fits the pattern a little too well. He was already too good for the cutthroat music business. He felt too deeply and cared too much. And maybe that's why he didn't stand a chance. The industry doesn't reward empathy. And the moment an artist starts speaking truth instead of selling fantasy, the clock starts ticking. So at what point do we stop calling it a coincidence? How many artists have to die before we admit that the system might actually be built to destroy them? Now, to be clear, I'm not saying there's proof of foul play in Riky Rick's case, but I am saying there's a pattern. Just like Katt said, every time an artist dies, somebody profits. Well, let me know what you think. Is it a coincidence or design? Was Katt Williams right all along? Are labels really waiting for artists to break so they can cash in? Leave your thoughts in the comments and don't miss out on this next story.